time it is. Whew. We back, baby. Bitcoins, shitcoins, or NFTs. There's no greater feeling than hitting that sweet old time high, old time.
Hello guys, what's up and welcome to another weekly episode of Setup Saturday. I'm here back behind my desk. Last 2 weeks it was only Zero Cool that did the stream, but now I'm here again. Yeah, Zero Cool, how are you?
I am pre-rich again, unfortunately, like everybody else holding crypto.
You did last 2 streams alone, and I saw the last stream because I was in the plane, but I looked it afterwards, and you predicted. So always after the stream we do our predictions, what we think the price of Bitcoin will be next week, and you predicted on point $98K dollars for Bitcoin, and we're at the moment exactly right. So you basically predicted this drop. But did you play it good yourself, or how did you play it?
No. I was risk on going into it. So I had wide stops, which got blown mostly in most trades. So I gave back most of my wins from this summer, I think. Overall, I still gain more crypto than the start of the year, which is the end goal. Like, you stack Bitcoin. That's the ultimate end goal. I still have more Bitcoin than I started with the year, but it hurt. But that's the game.
But
you
anyway,
can change that into a 9, I think.
So the prediction you won, so it's 9-9, so pretty good. All right, so let's dive right into it. So why do I think Bitcoin dropped, and which is more likely the reason? So first of all, the Fed cut their interest rates by 25 basis points. So this was not the reason that Bitcoin dropped, because this was, everyone knew the Fed was going to cut 25 basis points. The market priced it in. There was no surprise. The only thing was the FOMC meeting. So when Powell was speaking, just the way how he spoke and what he said. And basically what he said was, first of all, he said the inflation, that they don't really have it under control, and they raised their inflation target from 2.1% to 2.5%. This also means that if they already think that inflation is going up and is going to be higher than normal, that they cannot aggressively cut their interest rates. And that's basically what he said. So basically, before last meeting, he said they were going to see 3 rate cuts in 2025. Last meeting, he said, no, there will only be maximum 2 rate cuts in 2025. And so they raised their inflation target. And that's basically why we dropped. Because of that, the dollar went super strong. I will talk about this later. And then we know Bitcoin and the dollar are inversely correlated. And that's, in my opinion, why we saw the Bitcoin price drop. So yeah, and that's the thing, I talked about it, I think 2-3 months ago, because we had the same debate. So everyone asked, yeah, but inflation is good for Bitcoin, since Bitcoin is a monetary hedge. Isn't inflation good? And I spoke about this as well 2 months ago, and I said, yeah, of course it's good in the long term, but in the short term, this causes to have a strong dollar, and a strong dollar is not good for liquidity and Bitcoin. So that's why we dropped. And as you can see, basically you could already predicted it just by looking at Trueflation. On Trueflation, you already see inflation ramping up to 3%, which is super high. So I think the Fed is kind of right. They have to keep inflation under control. Inflation is ramping up. And yeah, of course, in the short run, this causes a strong dollar. And so what I wanted to show is last meeting. So this is after the meeting. So this is live data. And basically before this, the market, so the FOMC FedWatch tool predicted, so the market predicted 3 rate cuts in 2025. And so Powell said maximum 2, but the markets, so the CME Group futures, only predict 1 rate cut in 2025, which is crazy. And this is the reason Bitcoin dropped, because the market is pricing in only 1 rate cut in the whole 2025. And that's great. I think the market is wrong here. I think we will see 2. 1 rate cut seems really, really hard, and we will probably go into a recession if we see this. But yeah, what do you think, Circle?
That I'm logging onto Polymarket to see if there's a market for it, and I agree. At least two. There's a big decision. There's a big difference between Powell saying, "Oh, we're only gonna do X right now," and Trump takes office and forces his policy, whether the Fed wants it or not. Right. So two might be the at least two, I think. Yeah. So let's not forget, Trump also said that he's gonna force the dollar down, right? Which he'll do by rate cuts, I assume.
Yeah, I have it here in my next picture that I wanted to show. So I will show it afterwards.
Okay.
But so why is the dollar super important? This is an old picture, but it really shows you why it works and how it works. I know Zero Cool wasn't really a fan of this. We talked about this for months, and he said, "Yeah, it's not really true. It's not really inversely correlated." I know we talked about it like just before I went on holiday, I think. But anyway, this is a chart from 2023, so you just see the inverse correlation. And I already it was about a correlation of 80%. So when the dollar rises, Bitcoin goes down about 80% of the times. And we just see it happening. The dollar is super strong, and I think the dollar will keep going up in 2025. And I think a strong dollar will help taper inflation. And I also think the Elon Musk Doge thing, I said it as well 2 weeks ago, will help taper inflation as well and will make the dollar stronger. If they cut, like, what was it, 80% of government spending, they wanted to cut like crazy amount. That's very good to keep inflation under control because
spending goes down.
Spending goes down. So that's something to consider as well. And that's why I was thinking in the plane, because in the plane I download a lot of podcasts from, for example, Michael Howell. And the consensus was a little bit that the dollar was going stronger and stronger. But the other currencies are not able to follow. So then I was thinking, hey, what can you do? Okay, I'm big into crypto. I got like 8% of my net worth into crypto. But what can you do to hedge yourself? And then I was thinking of a play, if you know that the dollar will keep going up, Bitcoin and dollar are inversely correlated, maybe I can just do a short on the euro against the dollar as a hedge of my crypto portfolio. And I was looking, and because you need to pay funding, of course, depending on where you lend the money or do the leverage. And basically, well, I did it a bit on ChatGPT, and apparently on PrimeXBT, which is also the partner of the show, has the lowest rates. So you can do CFDs on PrimeXBT, and apparently that was the best thing. But unfortunately, I didn't do it because you needed like an immense amount of money. You needed to have like 5x your portfolio so that the correlation works. And to be honest, it was a bit too much. Unfortunately, I didn't do it, but I'm still looking into a play like that because I still think Bitcoin will go up. The only thing that can, how can I say it, mess it up is the dollar keeps on going, and the dollar, it's possible that the dollar will keep on going because of the Doge and because of the no rate cuts. Yeah. So that's something you can do. I will be looking into it next week, so I will give you more answers next week, but that's something you can do. One other thing, a strong dollar, that also means that the other central banks in the world will not be able to tighten as well. And so if we see all the central banks in the world not being able to tighten, that will not be good for global liquidity. Another thing what the dollar brings with it is it will push down commodity prices. If commodity prices are pushed down, then the collateral will go down of a lot of liquidity. So global liquidity will go down as well. And that's not a good sign. So at the moment, global liquidity is trending downwards. But looking again at the dollar, there is one good chart I saw, and this is the only bullish thing I saw for the dollar going back down again is this chart, and I'll give you guys a moment to look at it. But Trump said in 2017 that the dollar is too strong. And I think he will do it right now as well. I think Trump will want a weaker dollar.
I think that's what he basically said already, right? So
that's what he said. And why did he say that? Is because a weaker dollar will position himself better in negotiations with other countries to trade. So, and basically the scale is exactly the same. So this is the XY, the scale left and right is exactly the same from, the price is exactly the same from 2016 to now. And it's so crazy that it follows almost perfectly.
It is pretty insane at how correlated it is.
So this is my only bullish hopium that I have, that the dollar will go down and that Bitcoin can take a breather, liquidity can take a breather, and every risk asset will move back up again. This can happen. This can happen. Why? Just because Trump wants a weaker dollar, so he can. This will help him to trade easier with
negotiate better, yeah,
and negotiate better. Let's see. I don't know. I just thought this chart was fascinating. I think we can see something like this because Trump wants it. So let's see. And in terms of global liquidity, like I said, global liquidity trended down again this week. Why? It's very simple, just because of the dollar strength, and that depresses the value of collateral, and hence it pushes down global liquidity. I don't have the data at the moment from Michael Howell. My subscription finished, and I will buy a new one next week, so I don't have it right here, but it went down again. No surprise, because the dollar is just so strong. But I think it will still go up in 2025, and I think it will go up by about 10 to 15%, so don't worry. I think even high interest rates will eventually be good for global liquidity, because that just means that there needs to be more money to roll over the debt, so that's fine. Another thing I wanted to talk about today, which is very important, since Bitcoin is currently super correlated with the S&P, and I know it's stupid and it doesn't need to be like this, but Bitcoin is so big that it's so correlated at the moment with the S&P, and so the S&P went down and Bitcoin went down. So it's not that because of the drop only Bitcoin went down and the rest of the world went up. No, it's just everything went down, S&P went down, and that's why we have now the seasonality. And what I wanted to show you guys is the Santa Claus rally. So Santa Claus rally is something that's known among investors, and basically what happens usually is around the 20th of December until the 5th of January, we always see a Santa Claus rally in the S&P, which means that historically stocks perform extremely well in this period. And so the 20th was yesterday. So if we just follow history, this will be a good month for the S&P and most likely for Bitcoin as well. I know Zero Cool doesn't believe in seasonality as well, but it's something like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It happened before, so now everyone thinks it will happen, so they buy, because they buy it, it happens. And I don't know.
I do believe in the Santa rally, though. I do think that's a legit thing, especially in crypto. With the exception of like 1 or 2 years, I think the end of December into Q1 of the next year is always super strong, especially on alts.
Yeah, and I have it open right here from CoinGlass. And always, I talked about this before, always when we have a green October and November, usually we see a green December as well for Bitcoin. The only time we didn't see that was in 2013, but then Bitcoin did a 5x, so of course it has to be done in December. But normally we see that. It has to do with seasonality of Bitcoin itself, with the S&P, the Santa rally. So I think we're positioned well. And one that's positioned even better is Ethereum. So Ethereum always performs best in January. So January, on average, is one of the best months for Ethereum. That's why I'm positioned a bit more on Ethereum, but I will talk about it a bit later. What do you think, Circle?
Yeah, I was going to say, interesting that January is so red for Bitcoin. I would have assumed it would be more green on average, because it's on average, it's only 3% up, right? Compared to like February to April, where it's like double digits.
Yeah, and that's crazy. So you have 3%, but if you look at Ethereum, 23% on average.
Yeah, and that's, like I said, I believe in the Santa rally into the new Q1 for the next year, but alts perform better just historically, and that's what we see here, right?
Yeah. So just a bit off topic. Well, when we're talking about Bitcoin, but what you can do and what I'm currently doing is I have most of my portfolio into Ethereum. Why? Because I think if we go up, if the dollar goes down, Ethereum and altcoins will perform better than Bitcoin. I think it's the best risk reward that you have your funds now in Ethereum instead of Bitcoin. If you want to play safer, you can do Bitcoin, but I think then it's just better that you move your funds into dollars or do some sort of hedge like I just talked about before. And then moving on are the Bitcoin ETFs. And I don't know if you read this, Circle, but this was the biggest net outflow day since the inception of the ETFs. So if you look here, there was 671 million of net outflows in the Bitcoin ETF.
And 0 from BlackRock. I think. I am pretty sure BlackRock is not in that graph.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, it's true. Okay. Yeah, BlackRock is buying, which is a good sign. And what do I have as well? Oh no, that's already something else.
Yeah, they bought. If you go up with your mouse to the last bar, I think you can see that they bought. Yeah, I think that you can see that they bought.
Yeah, just not on the 19th when we saw the drop, but weeks before.
No, they did. They did. I think they did.
No, not on this day, right? Maybe I can. I don't know how I can see. It's from Carpe Noctem, the data here. I don't know how I can see the daily flows.
That's weekly, I guess. Last would be last row, I guess.
Yeah, that's weekly. Here maybe. Yeah, here. No, 0.
But that's 19th of December.
Yeah, there is no data from the 20th. He didn't update it.
Yeah. My bad. I guess 0. Interesting. Yeah.
All right, but moving on, what I want to say is the stablecoin liquidity. So this one is really important for me. You can see it on TradingView. I don't know if someone in chat or maybe on YouTube afterwards has like a better indicator to see the stablecoin liquidity. Probably you can see it on chain better, but I use at the moment, because it's also more clear for you guys, the TradingView indicator of USDC and USDT. I don't know how where they extract the data from. Maybe they use on-chain data. I don't know. But anyway, just looking at this, stablecoin liquidity is moving up week after week. And this is one of the charts you have to look at in crypto. This is still going up. Don't worry. We're not at the top yet. I know a lot of people are asking, is this the top yet? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think we got a big wipe, especially on alts. A good flush, a lot of open interest gone, and that's exactly what you need for a rally, especially this belief rally. And if you look at the coins that performed well yesterday, there's coins that are almost near all-time high again. That doesn't happen if the actual top is in.
We will prepare some top signals, like maybe next week or in 2 weeks when we have time. But we're not there yet. Some of the most important ones are the MVRV Z-score, not at the top yet. Global liquidity, not topping out yet. And there are a lot of more charts. Normally, also just looking historically, like days after halving, we're not there yet. Should be next year the top. So don't worry, guys. This is just, I know it's scary, like the drop in Bitcoin and especially in altcoins, but it's normal. We always see these kind of drops. So don't worry. I just can say be allocated. If you see stablecoins going up, there's nothing to worry about. The only thing that I say where you have to worry about is the strong dollar. And let's hope it goes down because of Trump. And so what I wanted to say about stablecoins is that FTX will allow bankruptcy payouts in stablecoins via BitGo and Kraken exchanges. Why is this important? Well, because before it wasn't sure that they will just deposit on your normal bank account in USD, but now apparently you will be able to get your FTX bankruptcy coins on Kraken and BitGo in USDT, so the money still stays in the crypto ecosystem, and like 9 out of 10, this money will be used to buy crypto again. So this is, what was it? So in total it was 16 billion. But let's say there's a lot of OTC deals being made. So let's say it was about 8 billion that has a possibility to hit the markets again. So there will be a lot of stablecoin liquidity going back into the system, which is super bullish. And I think this was for March 2025. I think it was March 2025.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's super bullish, and that was it for me. So guys, just don't worry. Nothing happened. Just a strong dollar, and I think that's it. Zero cool. I don't know. You want to do
I have
one
one more topic I'd like to adjust or address. If you can hop over to my screen.
Yeah.
Events like these are always like based on something, right? We went over that it was based on the Fed being way more bearish than the market expected, and that rolled over into equities and stocks, and that trickled down to crypto. I think one thing that's going around that's not really paying attention to is that the sub company of Jump Trading, which is a very big player in the crypto market. I believe it's the biggest crypto desk there is. One of their sub companies is being sued by the SEC for 123 million over their play that they did with Terra. And I do believe that part of the crypto dumping was this doing the rounds behind doors, that the lawsuit was coming, and people de-risking and selling before this news hit. There's always some news crypto related that comes out after a massive event like we just had, and be like, oh, and you can just point at it like, oh yeah, that's the reason. And people who have this news before it becomes public, because this is from yesterday evening after the markets closed. By then we were already bouncing back up. I do think this A went under the radar, and B is most likely one of the reasons why we sold off so aggressively.
And no buyer to pick all the sales up, right? Because there is like the blackout winning from MicroStrategy. I don't know if you can tell something about that.
There is a window where Michael Saylor cannot spend his funds that he's been gathering to keep buying Bitcoin. It's a unannounced window, so they cannot tell you when it starts, when it ends, but it is mandatory by law. I think every year they have like a window of 2 to 4 weeks, I believe.
And
where they can...
it right now or somewhere around?
I think I cleared the chart, so I will have to look up. I'll have to pull it up in a sec on Discord. But yeah, I think we're in that blackout window now, which means Michael Saylor cannot buy Bitcoin, and he's been the biggest buyer, keeping the price probably above 100,000. Man, maybe he didn't buy during the dip, and that's what we felt.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's go to the charts.
Yeah, go ahead.
First thing I wanted to show, which was interesting during the dump, here we have the Coinbase premium, which means the price of Coinbase compared to Binance, I think it is. So during these violent move down, we had the premium trading at like minus $150, meaning you could buy Bitcoin $150 cheaper on Coinbase than you could on Binance or Bybit, indicating that the selling was spot driven, and that's people de-risking and the market just following, especially last two legs. If you add open interest, you can see it's just per open interest nuking and going down hard. And that's why it feels so scary, because you think this is the bottom, because I longed here, and then you get stopped out here, and then maybe you think of entering again and you get stopped out again, and just this cascades the whole system down. And I think, yeah, that's an interesting thing. The move down was spot driven, which reinforces my idea of that it was also a little bit news based, that was swept under the rug. But on a big scale, let's zoom out. I mean, how can you be bearish here? This looks...
We didn't even touch
extremely bullish. Yeah, the Kijun was at 89, right? I think. So the targets
87, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if we go zooming in from month to week, again, this does structure-wise, these lows are not broken. So like a weekly close underneath here would be bearish structure-wise. Not even close. If we go on the daily, let's remove some stuff. It's a little smaller. Let's draw some lines, right? We always like to play with ranges. We've put in a range high, I believe over here. I think this was the range we were originally playing with. And it touched the range low, which I think is pretty interesting. So this was the original range, then we broke out, we formed a new little like top range where we had a little struggle getting through, like over here. And it rejected hard over here as well. Now, what do we want to see? I think it's quite clear. So you have all these wicks over here and here. This is clearly resistance at the moment, right? You want to close above 103, 104 thousandths for upside. Pretty important to say, events like this, massive open interest wipes, this does not resolve in a day. We're going to need some insanely news, like Trump's Bitcoin reserve is going live tomorrow to see a candle like this. V-shaped recovery, very rare. This will take time to settle. And I think we will just swap around, or like, how to say this? Flop around, I guess, between these prices, and this will give alts to breathe. Because again, what we've been saying on the stream is this is the kind of price action you want on Bitcoin for alts to thrive, right? So it's looking very large, but it's similar. It's the kind of price action we want.
Yeah, let's hope so. My only concern is there's no liquidity, and I said it 3 weeks ago, if there's no global liquidity, Bitcoin won't easily break 100K. Okay, it did break 100K, but to me it was just Sailor buying and trying to push the price above 100K. It's nothing else.
Yeah, I agree. On a lower time frame level, I think the targets where you like, if you manage to catch the top, where you should start TPing these is easy, right? So you just mark out the highs. So the highest candle closes. I think we can do it even on 4 hours. So if you're long from lower, where you want to start targeting is these two, I think. And then we probably see something like this, right? And yeah, that's Bitcoin. It's gonna range, it's gonna take a while to resolve. Can we go deeper is maybe the question, like should we turn bearish and look for targets lower? We can, but I'm afraid if we start closing below here, it's a break in the structure because this is basically up only. This could be counted as a deviation for now, or it's a clean rejection, who knows? Starting to close below 92, 91K, then I'll start to be worried about my alts.
Yeah. If you want, I can go over to Ethereum real quick because there are some good things. So one good thing was, and it was yesterday or the day before, that the SEC just approved their first spot Bitcoin and Ethereum combo ETF. I don't know if you read this, but to me this is super bullish. So basically what happens is Hashdex and Franklin Templeton made an ETF with 80% Bitcoin and 20% Ethereum. And I think a lot of investors will want this ETF just to have a bit of a broader investment into crypto. And I think 80-20 is a perfect allocation. And I think this just will help to push the price of Ethereum higher, because a lot of people maybe are afraid of like an Ethereum only ETF, but they will want to do then this 80-20 ETF. And I think this will help the inflows into Ethereum. And this was approved yesterday or the day before, and it will go live in January. So are expected to launch in January.
Interesting. Yeah.
So
let's quickly do Ethereum. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, the only thing I wanted to say is that we now see the adoption of Ethereum. So Deutsche Bank will build an Ethereum layer 2 blockchain. And I forgot, but there was also another bank or something else that also built something on Ethereum. And that's what I say, like week after week, month after month, year after year. No one will ever build something on Solana, something serious. Everyone in the world will build something on Ethereum. All the real world assets and tokenization that we will see this year and next year and the year after, everything will be on Ethereum. Ethereum will be so big just because of all the real world assets will be tokenized, will be built onto Ethereum. Okay, maybe not on the layer 1 blockchain, but of course on the layer 2, and in the long run that will help Ethereum. So to me, and I thought about it because I was afraid of the drop as well a couple of days ago, and then I just made the decision, don't worry, you're good into Ethereum. I staked my Ethereum so that I cannot sell them, because I know that 2025 and after will be very good for Ethereum. We will see headlines like this week after week. Everyone and like banks will use Ethereum, and that's super bullish. Okay, maybe one scammy blockchain game will use Solana, one meme coin will use Solana, sure. But all the other like layer 1 blockchains are just scams basically. We saw news yesterday, like what was it, the Aptos founder, just the day that his vesting stopped, yeah, he just, okay guys, I quit. The day that his vesting stopped, so basically the guy made about like $500 million or something. He said, okay, thank you for the money, I'm out. And that's like every layer 1 blockchain is basically just a scam or centralized or not useful. And it's hard for me to keep saying this week after week, because a lot of crypto guys are invested in Solana and in every other thing. So I don't make myself popular saying this. And I know Ethereum has been dead for like the whole year, like maybe already 4 or 5 years. But I still think it's the best asset to own in crypto. It's you will do nothing wrong with it. It's the best risk reward. It's will be the most adopted. And to be honest, I was even thinking, we said a couple of weeks ago that it was impossible for Ethereum to trade higher than Bitcoin. But then I was thinking, wait, if every real world asset will be tokenized onto Ethereum, maybe eventually in the future Ethereum will trade higher than Bitcoin. But okay, that was just me solo rambling 5 minutes that Ethereum is bullish. But anyway, so sorry, Zirko, you can go ahead.
Yeah, let's swap to the chart on the Ethereum.
Yeah.
Let's turn off the indicators, go with a clean chart. This, besides that it looks less bullish than Bitcoin, is still very bullish, right? I think zoom out, this high here, we didn't hold it. I think on a monthly level, it's a little bit lower. Yeah, it's the level I was looking for. I think this is a line to play with. Again, above this line, started higher time frame close, 12 hours, 4 hours above, say 3,800, and then we can talk about higher levels. Clearly, if we have zoomed in a little, 4,000 is a very big level here. It's small. Oh, it's a bit hard. There we go. Like, this is clearly a level that's it's having issues with. It's being rejected hard over here. So you can see this rejection. Objective 1, reclaim this. Objective 2, reclaim this, and then the sky's the limit. I think Rect Proof, we've talked about his 3-tap setup. Often and not here, he posted another juicy setup where he's saying this is just a giant PO3 where you have your accumulation, your manipulation, and then your expansion into higher. And then you can just throw fibs on this, right? I personally use candle closes instead of candle wicks. And then, yeah, you can aim at 1.68, 2 or 2.4, and that you go up to like 4.8. And from here to 4.8, it's like a almost 50% rally, 42%. That's quite a rally on Bitcoin. And same for ETH BTC. Where is ETH BTC? Because that's always the most interesting chart. I personally drew this yesterday. I see a 3-tap setup. Ooh. Let's not remove all my indicators because my lines from the last months of streaming are there. Let's zoom out. We have an order block that we traded in. For me, still TP1 where I'm going to swap ETH to Bitcoin's 0.06. But this is just testing this order block again. And when I see this, my first reaction, again, like I said last week on the stream, you kind of need to see, if you see a chart, you need to see a setup instantly or it's not worth trading. What do I see here? Is a low, a deviation below the low, like clearly issues reclaiming it, and shooting off it. Low, deviation, a low with a lower low than here, but still within this range. And then this is rect-proof 3-tap setup, by the way. This should aim for this. And ideally, even higher for the next high, I think. Something like this. And again, this from here to here, already another 20%. And that's not going into USD, that's just rotating between Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I think it's something people need to learn is allocation into subclasses of Bitcoin, like Ethereum's an altcoin. It's the second biggest altcoin after Bitcoin. People need to learn to rotate in between and maximize the value of their crypto they're holding. Personally, I think it's a bad idea to just hold 100% Bitcoin and rotate between Bitcoin and cash. But that's me. I think there's value in this trade. So yeah, doesn't look too bad, honestly. It had a very deep wick.
They
running all
touched
these
perfectly
stops.
the weekly tank, and just on the weekly tank and it bounced back up. So that's good. And the thing with Ethereum is, I just think what happened is every time, so we have like 3 tops at 4K, and every time Ethereum traded above 4K, I think a lot of leveraged traders wanted to trade the breakout, and they just got wrecked because there was just too much leverage on the breakout, and it got flushed all the time.
I didn't play the breakout on Ethereum. I only played the breakout on XRP, which also got me absolutely wrecked.
Shame on you.
Yeah. But yeah, the liquidity was quite clear, right? You had massive liquidity laying here between these lows that got swept. I didn't go for this liquidity. But now find the base and start reclaiming the 3.7, 3.8, and then 4K. And after 4K, I think we'll shoot up to 4.8. And then we'll need to see where Bitcoin is, because I do think it has legs for 5K, 6, 7, 8K. But again, super bullish while the market looks bearish. I think is you need to buy the fear, right? Only thing I am not too happy about is this flat top, bottom. You need to really zoom in to see that there's a little wick of like a couple of dollars. But on a higher time frame, this looks pretty flat, which is never a good case. You kind of want the wicks to be there. If you go to Bitcoin, for example, and you go on a higher time frame, this is a very nice wick, right? Probably fills it a little bit and then goes up. All right, I think that's it for me today.
Yeah, for me as well.
Deprived.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say is I'm a bit sick, so I was sick last 2 days. So we're going to keep the stream a bit short. I'm still a bit sick. Zero Cool is a bit sleep deprived, so we're going to call it here. But let's just still do our predictions. So Zero Cool, you won this week. So what do you think the price will be next week?
100K round.
Okay, so kind of bullish. So you...
Yeah, just we're gonna chop around. That's the word, not flush around, not flow around. Chop around. That's the word I was looking for earlier.
100K. Dumpty says 90K next week. In my opinion, I'm a bit more bearish as well. I think we will trade a bit lower. I think Ethereum will do better than Bitcoin, so I think Bitcoin will move down a bit. I say 95K. or 96.
okay.
Here. 95, 96.
Okay.
All right, so guys, we're gonna call it here. So no altcoins today. If you guys want to talk to us, like always, just join our Discord. Our Discord is in the YouTube description. You can join it for free. The only thing you have to do is make a Prime XBT account, which just takes 10 seconds. You don't have to put on money. You don't have to verify. Just make an account, 10 seconds, and it's fine. And then you can join our Discord. And if you have questions, you can talk to us there. Just one question maybe from G Armo. He asked, you think now time to start buying small market cap coins? I don't know. Honestly, for myself, I don't know because of the interest rates. I always said, and you can watch it on the post I made in May, alt season and the time when altcoins and even smaller altcoins perform better than bigger altcoins, or let's say Ethereum and Bitcoin, is when the interest rates are at its lowest points. And as I said before, we only will see, well, the market thinks we only will see one rate cut in 2025, which is not good for altcoins. So that's why I'm a bit hesitant to buy altcoins. I'm sure we will still see an alt season. It's impossible that we won't see an alt season in this cycle, because we didn't really see a big alt season yet. So I still think we will see it. But honestly, I don't dare to give you advice, or I don't to say that now it's a good time. Myself, like I said, I'm mostly into Ethereum. I'm not touching altcoins yet. I don't know about you, Zero Cool.
I think if you should have been allocated already, I think you can slurp a little bit of altcoins, but only the ones that had giga good reaction, like Hype, Ina, I think were the two biggest winners after the dump. Coins like that, but those aren't low market cap anymore, right? Those are already hundreds of millions. So if you do pick products that have market fit, and then I'm thinking RWA and AI, honestly, and maybe meme coins, but maybe that ship has sailed.
Yeah, what I have is just like I said last time, just to play on the next ETF is Litecoin. I also have a bit of Solana, because why not? And of course, it's also a contender to be the next ETF, and Solana will do good. I have a bit of Arbitrum as an Ethereum beta play, and STX as a Bitcoin layer 2, which is very popular these last weeks. And that's about it for me. I don't dabble too much in altcoins. I have like about 70% in Ethereum, and I think 70% Ethereum, 10% Bitcoin, and then the rest is in altcoins. So that's it for me. Maybe later during the cycle. And of course, the one thing, okay, we know we won't see low interest rates, but then I need to see global liquidity rising by a lot, or stablecoin liquidity rising by a lot. Else I'm not going to touch altcoins too much. But yeah, we were rambling too much. Zero Cool wants to sleep. I'm gonna rest as well a little bit. So guys, like I said, more questions, just put them in the YouTube comments, or just join our Discord. And all right, thank you all for watching, and we all see you next week. Thanks, Zero Cool.
See you next week, guys.